Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Got it. So, bunch of federal stuff. So we'll see who jumps in on the chat. Federal. Hornady brass. Let's see. Federal. Just doing some brass sorting. This evening. Hornady, there it is, Barnes. Hey, Darren. Oh, the snared life. Put the camera at a higher angle. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. The snared life. Buffering or just me? I don't know. Make sure y'all go follow the snared life if you don't already. He commented, blurry. Well, it looks fine on my end. I don't know. Wonder why it's blurry. Gotta love technology. Maybe it's me. That's why I ask. I don't know why it would be blurry. Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. Looks good there. Uh-oh. All right, maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Who knows? That's better. All right, so what am I doing besides talking to y'all? Depriming some 25-06 brass because that's kind of the next project. Internet, there you go. Gotta love technology. But I'm sorting it's like an ice cream bucket full of brass that a buddy of mine gave me a long time ago. And it was like a mountain of once fired brass and different cartridges. Luckily, 25-06 was one of the ones that was in the bucket. So, because now that's coming in handy. I'm gonna work up a load for a buddy of mine. His daughter shoots a Ruger M77 in 25-06, and I was cleaning it for him the other day, and I was like, "Hey, I can work up a load in that particular rifle if you want me to," because they even have a die set, an unopened Hornady die set for that cartridge. That die set came in a whole reloading lot that I bought off a guy. I was actually planning on selling that die set, but it's coming in handy now. So I'm glad I held on to it. So hello to everyone that joined. So nothing too crazy going on here tonight, just depriming some brass for the new project coming up. Mostly going through and sorting by head stamp, because as of right now the largest quantity of any one head stamp is this Barnes head stamp brass. So that's what I'm going to use for the load development process. And since I'm going through them anyway, I might as well sort everything else just for future reference. Winchester Hornady. Hope everyone had a great Friday, or is having a great Friday. There's a 243 case. That doesn't belong in there. Hornady, Barnes. Oh, there's another Barnes. Right now I'm up to about, I don't know, maybe about 120, 115, 120 pieces of Barnes head stamp brass. And so that's why I want to go with that particular head stamp. The next highest is probably this batch of Federal I got right here, but there's only maybe 30 pieces of it. So I'm going to stick with the Barnes. That'll get the job done. And I picked up, let's see, I already had this box. I already had that box. So Hornady interlock round nose, 117 grain. This box also came from the same reloading lot. There he is. I was wondering if Zach was going to join in. He's more of a 25-06 guru than I am. Focus. So look at that little 117 grain round nose. Gonna try those out just because I have them. I have a box of 100. I just want to see how they shoot. And then also today I went and picked up some of these guys over at Mr. Big Guns in Huntsville. Yeah, we're working on the same thing. I know, I almost sent you a text. 90 grain Hornady GMX. They had 3 boxes sitting on the shelf. I bought 2 of them. Hindsight, probably should have just went ahead and bought all 3. But solid copper option, 90 grain from Hornady. I think that's going to be I'm hoping it'll be a really, really good shooting bullet. So, but they come in boxes of 50, so that's why I went ahead and bought 2. My plan is to hopefully use roughly 50 of whatever bullet I decide. Hopefully 50 for load development process stuff, and then another 50 somewhere in that range to load up the actual final load and turn it over to him. So that's the plan. Loading 90 grain CX now. Yeah, I was looking at ordering some of those, but I've got, and the reason I'm going down this path also is he had a box of factory ammo that he gave to me along with the gun and said, hey, this is what we normally shoot, and it's the 117 grain Hornady SST Superformance factory ammo. And I shot 2 5-shot groups with it yesterday, so that would be Thursday. And the groups were, you know, I mean, they weren't really anything to write home about. You definitely kill a deer, for sure, 100%. But the velocity numbers that I was getting, now, of course, I was using my Garmin chronograph. The extreme spread on the velocity, I mean, it was 130 feet per second over the 10 shots. It was nuts. I mean, the SDs were horrible, absolutely horrible. So, so needless to say, I don't really want to utilize that factory ammunition. And that's why I seen the text. I was like, hey, by the way, the velocity spread on this stuff is terrible. So we're going to try to tighten that up, along with finding a bullet powder combination that shoots a little better. So I may start off with H4831. That's not necessarily like the best velocity option you could do or you could choose for 25-06. But looking in the Hornady manual with the 90 grain GMX, H4831, you can definitely get a pretty stout charge weight in there. So you get a pretty high charge weight, which will help with case fill and load density. And I'm not really trying to push the velocity as fast as humanly possible with this load, right? With a 90 grain in their manual, they should going all the way up to 3,400. Not necessarily, yeah, Barnes. I'm using Barnes head stamp brass. So this is stuff that was given to me a long time ago. Buongiorno. You're gonna see to Sammy or Jam. So that's the other thing. That's the other thing about messing with this is with that 117 grain round nose interlock. I can't even load to the Hornet overall length because I'm jamming into the lands 20 thou before I even hit there, or no, not 20. It's like 15 thou before I even get to that overall length. They're showing for that 117 round nose. Where's it at? They're showing 3.050 inch overall length. I'm jamming in at like 3.035, right? So I've got to seat it even shorter. And so I'm going to play around with that one. I'm not super sold on that 117 round nose. That's just something I've got the bullet. I just want to try it. So I'm more focused on a solid copper offering. So the GMX I'm going to be messing with. I did measure that to the lands, and it's right at 3.230, and the manual calls for 3.135. So almost 100 thousandths of jump. Probably going to be loading that a little bit longer. Not much, but I'm going to play around with it. We'll see. That's why I bought 2 boxes of them. That way I got 100 to mess with. But yeah, just going through and sorting this ice cream bucket of brass that was full of 25-06. IMR 4350 powder, been working well for me. So far, it's savage. Hang on, stand by, everyone. I'm back, hopefully. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully it's running now. Had to send a text. So I'm gonna end up. I'm not gonna jam. I've gotten to the point where I don't necessarily come close to the lands anymore on anything I load. Depending on how everything's cut, of course. But I try. Typically, I'm the closest I'll get maybe is 30 thou. 20 to 30, no closer than 20. I really don't even like to be that close. I back off. What load development process you using? Just got here. Oh, right now I'm just depriming brass, so you didn't really miss anything. You didn't miss anything at all, except some brass cases that are stuck together with a rubber band. That's how long they've been in there. That's interesting. All right. Yeah, so you didn't really miss anything. I'm just sorting brass at the moment out of this bucket and trying to come up with, which I've already got a sufficient amount, but just trying to come up with a large enough quantity of one head stamp to use for my next project, which is a 25-06 Remington, which is a cartridge that I've always been interested in and kind of would really like to dig into more. Y'all stand by. I need to send one more text. Let's see. Do you have any issues loading nickel-plated rifle brass? No, I mean, I haven't loaded a lot of it in my reloading time. But I do have some in 270 Winchester. So once I get around to loading more of that, I can definitely let you know. I've been real interested in 220 Swift, but can't find one. That'd be a pretty cool cartridge also. I don't wash all the nickel off. There you go. So back to the 25-06. So I've got a die set already. Again, that's just been sitting around from when I bought a huge reloading lot off of a guy. He was getting out of reloading completely, and I bought all his stuff from him. And it had it was still sealed in the plastic. It was a Hornady, the 2 die set, the custom grade 2 die set, full length sizing die, and a bullet seating die. And so I was actually going to sell it. I was actually going to sell the die set, try to post it for sale, and just, I mean, I did it one time, didn't really have anybody buy it, and so I just kind of held on to it, and I'm kind of glad I did. So now I don't have to buy a die set. And then, like I said, I had those 117 round nose interlocks. I had those sitting around that I'm going to use. I've got the Hornady GMX that I bought today, the 90 grain. And then also what's awesome is a nickel works just as well as standard. Just be careful not to confuse zinc coated steel with nickel brass. Yep. I've purchased a lot of Federal Terminal Ascent and Barnes, LRX factory ammo. I'm assuming it's all nickel plated. So yeah, to go along with the bullet selection for this project, I reached out to my buddy Sam over at McGuire Ballistics because they posted on their Instagram page, this was maybe back at the beginning of the week, maybe Monday, he made a post saying he was looking for 257 Roberts brass. And he was like, hey, does anybody have a lead on it? And actually part of this whole brass, whatever, all this brass that was given to me in various cartridges, 257 Roberts happened to be one of those cartridges. So I basically had an ice cream tote full of 257 Roberts brass. And I was like, hey, it's mixed head stamp. There's, a bunch of Nosler, a bunch of Hornady, some Norma, some Remington, a bunch of stuff in here. I'll just ship it to you. You can have it, whatever you need it for. And he was mostly looking to test. He's working on a 25 caliber solid copper bullet to offer. And he was needing some brass to do some more testing with it. And so that's what he's going to be using it for. So if anyone's looking for a 25 cal solid copper offering, go check out McGuire Ballistics. It's these guys. They are based in California. And I think I messaged him. We were messaging back and forth. I believe he said they're going to be offering a pre-order on their 25 cal offering as early as next week, maybe. So we'll see. That's definitely one I want to try as well. So, have you noticed a difference in die sizing dimensions between brands? So I will say I haven't measured dies to that. I don't necessarily have the equipment to do that or the capability to do that where I would feel confident, you know what I'm saying, in the measurements themselves. I would love to do that. I would love to take them and go, find a CMM, which I've worked with those a lot in my career. I would love to go take some dies in and be like, hey, can you guys take some measurements for me? But I have noticed that I will stick more cases in a retting die than I do anything else. So you take that for what it's worth. Looked into McGuire bullets after watching one of your vids, which is how I learned about them. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's a small. I don't want to say small mom and pop shop, but that's essentially what it is. I mean, they're a family who started this. Back when the lead ban kind of came into effect in California. It's something Sam. He's a professional guide, and so he's kind of lived that life of someone using maybe an inferior bullet or something like that on a hunt, and then he's got to go track that animal, right? He's the one that's actually got to do the leg work. And then when the lead ban came around, he was like, hey, surely this will push companies to kind of develop better solid copper projectiles, which it did in a sense, but he was like, you know what, I think we can make something that'll do what we need it to do. And so that's where McGuire Ballistics came from, right? And let's see, I think they just started releasing bullets to the public maybe last year. I think is when they first started selling them, maybe 23, 22. How do they compare to hammer bullets? That's a great question. I've shot hammer bullets. They're accurate, easy to load for. These seem to be exactly the same, accurate, easy to load for. I have not killed anything with a hammer bullet. so I can't speak to the terminal performance on it, but there's a million videos out there. Uh, what is it, Ed Outdoors or Adventures Out, Outdoor Adventures or whatever his YouTube channel name is now. I know he had to change it from time to time. He's basically like a big hammer guy. I think he's one of their sponsored shooters or whatever, or content creators here on YouTube, and he puts out a lot of stuff about hammer bullets. Like he's the guy to watch on hammer bullets. And I mean, there's a million, not necessarily a million, but there's a lot of terminal performance videos out there for hammer bullets, and they do something very similar, right? Solid copper projectile that's going to expand. It's going to shed some weight, and then the shank of the bullet's going to continue to drive through for penetration. Like that's, yeah. So now I will also say these guys, they're not cheap. Okay, they're a solid copper CNC turned premium hunting bullet. But they did just post on their Instagram that they have now been able to reduce the cost of these guys. And I went and looked at their website, and they really have reduced from because I bought all these, right? He didn't give me these, none of that. Like I bought every single box, and it was a lot of boxes of these bullets. It wasn't cheap, but it was a Black Friday deal, and I bought all of them to test, and they have lowered their price even from what it was back when I bought them. So that's definitely a true statement on their part. My experience on the North Alabama whitetail with Barnes LRX is, yep, big fan of Barnes. Yeah, I'm a huge, I mean, there's the 30 cal, don't know if that'll focus, 30 cal 175 LRX. I've got a lot of Barnes bullets sitting on my bullet shelf. Do you have a need or want for 35 Clever Evolution? I do not. I'm sure somebody does. Probably Zach over at Reloading Quest. I mean, the dude's got everything, so surely he's got something chambered in that, if I had to guess. There's another piece of Barnes. But yeah, so that's really, it's more or less just purpose of tonight's. Yeah, see, exactly. So reach out to Zach over at Reloading Quest. That's his YouTube channel, also his Instagram. So you can go message him there. And Harvey, you can message him directly, and y'all can work that out. But yeah, this is really all I'm doing tonight. It's just kind of sorting through some brass and talking about what's going to be upcoming on the project. So looking forward to getting those McGuire Ballistics 25 cal bullets in. He did say he was going to send me some of those to check and see how they shot in this 25-06, see what I thought about them. So looking forward to, I sent him my address, I think it was yesterday, so probably be a few days before they show up. Definitely looking forward to testing those. How do I reach out? Purchased it in error. I need to load for a 35 Whelen, not Remington. Ah, got you. Could probably go to his Instagram, just message him directly. Probably the easiest way. Let's see. Oh, dropped it. And another thing too, if you guys are not going and watching, so some really good live streams. Yeah, see, exactly. Zach does a lot of 35 Whelen or Wellen, however you want to pronounce it. A really good live stream that you guys should check out if you haven't already is the Georgia Shooting Connection. So the state of Georgia Shooting Connection. It's every single Friday night, so they'll actually be live streaming tonight, and that is 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm Central Time Zone, so that starts at 7. I try to attend as much as I can. It's not the easiest time frame for me to try to get on there that particular time in the evening. But yeah, I highly encourage everyone, if you're not on there, go check out Georgia Shooting Connection tonight. It's a lot of reloading knowledge on that live stream. Let's see. What's my process for finding my powder charge? So let me come back to that. I need to send one more text. Stand by. Sorry, guys. Maybe we'll start back up here in a second. Okay, so I want to get back to the question, what's your process for finding powder charge? So for me, I really try to maximize case fill if at all possible. Okay, that's something that I tend to do more of, is focus on, the charge weight and the case fill itself and the load density. Try to have a higher load density, and so I'm looking for, typically, are going to be your slower burning powders, especially for the stuff that I shoot quite a bit of, 270 Winchester, that type of stuff, 6.5 Creedmoor. You know, those powders are going to give you better load density, and so for me, I can't exactly give you like empirical evidence, like data. Hey, look, if you always do this, it will always yield a good result. I'm not saying that. But generally speaking, you do hear that thrown around quite a bit. Try to maximize the load density of the case. That can lead to accuracy, blah, blah, blah. Generalized statements, right? So for me, that's really what I'm focused on. But it also goes with, what powder do I have on hand, right? That's probably really the step one, is what can you get your hands on? And so going to whatever bullet you're shooting, go to that particular manual, and that'll generally give you a really good list of options, right? You can always go to the Hodgdon website, which is another great resource online. Spear has online load data. Federal has online load data. Berger has some online. I know Hornady does through their app, but you have to pay for it, which is kind of frustrating. Vitavori has free online data through their app. Nosler, you can access the Nosler load data for free. So the Hornady thing, it's like, really, I mean, you're going to charge people for the reloading information when virtually all your competitors offer it up for free. That's whatever. But so yeah, I basically go and look at the manual, see what powders they list as good options, or at least see what they have listed as options. And then I go to my selection of powder and say, what do I even have, right? I mean, what's available to me, and I start from there. I don't always chase the highest velocity option. Really depends on what I'm trying to do. Typically, I don't do that with other people's guns, for sure. But it's case by case basis, right? I mean, if I'm working up an elk load, oh, afternoon from Hamilton, Alabama, you ain't far away, brother. If I'm working up a load, like from my buddy Richard, who wants to go elk hunting out west, and he's like, hey, I'm taking a 30-06 and I need to be able to shoot 400 yards, and I want to deliver, enough energy on target at that distance. Okay, well, then that muzzle velocity has to be a certain amount to deliver a certain amount of energy on target at that distance. And so then that narrows your scope big time. Like, okay, well, now there's only a select few powders that can give me that type of performance with like 168 grain Barnes LRX, right? For instance, or 168 grain Barnes tip TSX, excuse me. So I kind of go about it that way. It's more or less what's listed in the manual, what do I have on hand, and enough of it to actually use for load development, right? That's the other main thing. I'm getting way behind because I'm end up spending too much time on one particular topic. But so that's really it. I know it's kind of a roundabout, rambly way to say it really just depends. I mean, depends on what bullet you're shooting, what cartridge you're shooting. Go to the manual, see what powders they have. I like good case fill density and ratio. I typically like extruded powders for rifle stuff, for bolt actions and stuff. I'm a big extruded powder guy. I like spherical powders also, though. Um, Stuff like, Hodgson Superformance, right? Big fan of that powder in 270 Winchester. Huge fan of that powder. Yeah, and a lot of the new ball powders that are coming out on the market. I haven't really tried them, but I'd be interested in trying them. Came very close to bidding on a Tika 25-06 on Gunbroker. I've never had 25 cal. Yeah, me neither. This is my first experience with it. So 32 watching, only 2 likes. Y'all clicked. Oh, thank you, Derek. I appreciate it. You don't have to click the like button if you don't want to. Don't get bullied into anything. I got a 25-06 Tika, crazy accurate. What's up, Sean? I've got 7 Tikas. Well, that sounds like, I'm not going to say a problem. I'm not going to say that. I've got 7 Tikas on left hand, all chambered in 270 Win, all exceed MOA, but I suppose could rebarrel 1 to 25. Oh, yeah, definitely. But I think I'd rather try 6.5-06. Another good option. New Hope checking in. There he is. That's the man with the plan right there, Mr. Kevin Dewberry. He's the whole reason we're doing this live stream. It is for him that this project is getting done. 30-06 elk, I'd go 190 grain spear impact. Most definitely, that would be a great choice. Or 168 tip TSX. That was the bullet that I chose for him, and he smoked the elk with it. What's up? Huge fan here with Superformance 270 also. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That 130, yes. So that 130 grain tip TSX or the the 129 grain LRX, either one of those with Superformance. And it's you don't have to look any further. I mean, don't even bother. Just pick that bullet, that powder, go load it, especially in Tika. I've had 2 Tikas in 270 Winchester. And that combination, it just works. Oh yeah, Bergara HMR. 300 Win on elk, 180 grain. Grand Slam, I'm assuming. Spear Grand Slam. Standby. 33.25 and all my 270s. Man, that's cooking right there. That is straight up cooking. I hover around, I think mine, I'm north of 31, I believe. But yeah, that's moving on for sure. So yeah, picked up this guy today. Gonna need this case length gauge and shell holder. That way I can trim this 25-06 brass once I get done cleaning it and doing all that stuff. So that's really where I'm at in the process. Super early in the process. All I did was deprime. It's about 120 pieces of that brass. And so next up, I got to clean it, which I use the Frankfurt Arsenal wet tumbler. And I'll clean it with their little cleaning solution, their little laundry detergent pack looking thing, and some stainless steel pins. Tumble that stuff for a couple hours, and I'll dry it in the oven and start the resizing process. So my Ridgeline 270 likes the 150 Nosler AccuBond, I'm assuming. Lee trimmers, special on alignment. Yep, that's exactly my setup. Is the Lyman Case Prep Express with the little trimmer adapter that you can buy at Midway. I checked, I think yesterday, that trimmer adapter is $8, $7.99. 270 Win, 140 grain Sierra Game King, all point boat tail. I've got some I thought I did. Yeah, I do. I got some 130 grain Pro Hunters from Sierra in the 277 diameter. Use H4350 in my 30-06s. Yep, definitely a good combination. Now in 30-06, I think the load the powder that I used for that elk load, I want to say was Ramshot Big Game, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, I think it's Ramshot Big Game. And if you go and look at a lot of the load data, you know, it's very difficult to pump up the velocity. Or I say it's difficult according to the manuals, right? Your velocities are somewhat, I don't want to say limited, but for what I was trying to do and the muzzle velocity that I needed to achieve to get the energy on target at 400 yards on an elk size animal, my powder options were pretty limited, right? And I believe Ramshot Big Game was, that might have been, if it wasn't the best, it was one of the best velocity options per the manual. So, Airsoft for Jesus says hello. Well, I'll tell you what ain't clean would be this reloading bench. So, that's for sure. And it probably never will get clean. It's on the list of things that need to happen, but probably won't. So, let's see. So I think I'm just about done. Don't forget, guys, the Georgia Shooting Connection. Make sure you guys go tune in tonight on that live stream. Starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you go and tune in to that. That'll be a really good live stream, especially for anyone interested in reloading. My daughter, a doe here in Colorado with the 140 hollow point boat tail. I've always been a fan. Blessed the stellar this year, front left shoulder, no pass through. Didn't even make it to the other side. If it's a hollow point boat tail, probably not going to. Even if it's their Game King with that wicked hollow point on the front, that kind of cross design, if it's that version, I mean, or if it's a match bullet, right? And yeah, you're more than likely, I was actually had this conversation earlier this morning. More than likely, you're probably not going to get a complete pass through. Not in every instance. Zach, Harvey hit you up, so just a heads up. Probably not going to get a pass through. Now, if you want to pass through, or if you want to have the likelihood or the chance of a complete pass through going way up, then you're going to have to switch to either a bonded bullet, a solid copper projectile, something with a little more robust construction that's actually intended to hold together and not necessarily dump all of its energy into the animal, but punch all the way through whatever it is you're shooting. So also, Reloader 19 is a really good 30-06 powder. Too bad I can't find any. What do you think is the most versatile cartridge? I knew that was coming. Also, make sure you guys go follow the Snared Life. Go give his channel. He's here on YouTube. He's in the comment section. Pretty well known, famous YouTuber. So happy to have him. Honored that he would be in the comment feed there. Make sure you go check out his channel. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. The Snared Life. The most versatile cartridge of all time. I mean, it's unquestionably. I mean, it's got to be 30-06. Nah, he knows. He knows how I feel about that. 270 to 7 PRC. 277 PRC coming soon. Yeah, I know, as I don't pay any attention to them. Got my JGS Reamer right here. Should have first barrel chambered in about a month. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I would like to stay updated on that, Derek, if you don't mind. That sounds pretty cool. So, let's see. I think I'm just about down. Yeah, this is the last piece of 25-06 brass. The rest of them are, I mean, it's nickel-plated brass, but it's not enough to actually do anything with as far as the project I'm attempting. So All right, so I've got the Barnes head stamp stuff already deprimed. All that stuff's in the wet tumbler. I know, Zach. Don't get me started. I thought we were friends. Um, you neck down 7 PRC brass, and I bet that thing is cooking. It's got to be. What's up, Michael? Planning on Burger 170 VLDs. Oh yeah, for sure. AccuBond long range and that. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. No, I mean in in all seriousness, I mean that's what that cartridge gets kind of. It gets that. It gets that. I guess title or gets that claim to fame, most versatile cartridge ever. Right? I mean it gets that for good reason, right? Because I mean you have load data from what was it like 110 grain bullet all the way up to a 220 in the Hornady manual. I think it goes from 110 to 220. So I mean, it's, that is kind of the definition of versatility. Hey, a 110, let's go coyote hunting or shoot, small game, whatever, with a 110. It's overkill and would obviously destroy whatever it is you're shooting at, groundhogs or prairie dogs or whatever. But then you go all the way up to a 220 and you're going to go kill a moose with it, right? So, I mean, that's the definition of versatility. So, let's see. It's good at everything, but not the best at anything. That's probably the best way to describe it. 7 millimeter '08 or 308 for sheer variety or availability. Now, if you're talking about factory ammunition, I would say the 308 because it's like it's. I mean, you can throw a rock and hit a box of 308 Winchester, right? But if you're going to hand load, I would pick the 7 millimeter '08 over the 308. That's just me personally. There's a lot of good bullet options in 7 millimeter. So 30 600, 30 grain Barnes, Tip TSX, Hybrid V100. Yeah, and so the 130 grain Barnes Tip TSX, I think that is Ryan Muckenhern from Vortex. That's like his favorite bullet. He shoots a 308 or one of the cartridges that he loads for and shoots as a 308. I believe it's a Tika rifle, and he uses that 130 Barnes Tip TSX. He likes to load a little bit on the lighter side with a solid copper to get, to try to maximize his velocity. I have loaded for 90 grain to 250. Yes, exactly. That's yeah, Derek. Yeah, 130 grain Barnes, tipped TSX, 308, 50 grains attack, 32. Wow. Yeah, that is definitely cooking. Kills deer quick. I bet it does. As well as barrels quick. I don't know. Does it? Do you think it burns out the barrels by shooting a 130 that fast and a 308? I don't know. Just finished my 6 arc AR build. The 6 arc, that one, that's definitely a good one too. By the way, that 30 belted Newton kicks pretty good. Yeah, yeah. I bet it does. It probably punches you right in the face if I had to guess. if it does have an 18 Brooks and K&P barrels on hand. Jeez Louise, what do you do for work? You hiring? Good night. 18 Brooks barrels? That's a little bit of coin. It's a little bit of coin right there. Yes, I go there. Yeah, that's one way to do it, that's for sure. Up in Wisconsin, cash price is much cheaper. Oh, I bet. I bet. How's the hunting up in Wisconsin? You ever do any hunting up there? Oh, man. Oh. Let's see. Yeah, at some point, I gotta clean up this reloading bench. No, we fish up there. Oh, that's a lot of fun too. I mean, I haven't gone fishing in Lord knows how long. Oh yeah, not so great. Well, that's the thing. We're actually looking at expanding our out-of-state hunting experiences. Me and my brother, we were talking about that. We're heading back to Kentucky this upcoming season, so we're going to go back up there. We've already scouted, the area we want to go back to. Got a plan for bow season and gun season. But then also on our way back from this last scouting trip, we started talking. Okay, well, what are some of the other states around? What are some of the other states within driving distance, reasonable driving distance, that we could go and scout and then go back and hunt, maybe bow hunt, gun hunt, whatever. And we started looking, and I'll tell you what, gets a little spendy when you start hunting out of state, for sure. There's some very expensive states around Alabama to try to go hunt. So we're looking at Virginia possibly. Come to Ohio. Yeah, I mean that's definitely going to be on the list. Do you like ice fishing? Never done it. Never have I ever, man. I live in Alabama. We don't get ice, like, ever. I mean, we do, but very rarely. But yeah, we're looking at expanding, that out of state hunting. So probably gonna look at Virginia next. I think we're definitely gonna take a long hard look at that one, just because it was a decent amount cheaper than any of the other states we were looking at. So 3-year-old bucks weigh 250. Yeah, there's actually a lot of guys. More ice than snow. Tell me about it. There's a lot of guys from my church that actually go on a trip up to Ohio every year. They go up there for a week at a time. And man, they have killed some absolute monsters. You can get a lot of game in Virginia, including black bear. Yeah, that was the other thing too. Like that's one of those states where there's definitely a little bit better variety. Untouched public land in eastern Kentucky. Well, if you can do that, kill Billy Gamer, whatever your user tag, gamer, whatever your tag is. Well, yeah, I'd be all in on that. How much does a very basic but comprehensive reloading setup cost? Boy, that's a tough one. Another live stream. I know. Imagine that. Don't get super excited because it may be a minute before I do another one. But let's see. Let's go back. Let's circle back to that. How much does a very basic but comprehensive reloading setup cost? So any reloaders in the chat, I'm in. Your thoughts on it. I would say you could get a pretty comprehensive reloading setup. I haven't looked at the prices lately. Something from like Lee Precision, the guys that make this stuff, Lee Precision. I mean, those are typically going to be your cheaper sets or kits that you can buy. And so I'd recommend at least looking at them first if you're trying to stay more on the budget side of the house. The Lee kits are where you're going to want to kind of hang out and just explore what they have to offer. I would imagine all in, maybe 350 or less, you should be able to buy one of their kits and then supplement that with additional items that maybe don't come in the kit, right? So if you're talking a more comprehensive, a little bit higher quality kit, something like a lineman kit, you'd probably spend upwards of $600, somewhere in that range, and have just about everything you need to make really, really good ammunition. So, if you budget maybe $500 right off the start, if you're wanting to get into reloading, then that'll put you in a little bit better. I don't want to say better. That's subjective. In terms of quality, what you're going to pay for, if you budget for about $500, you can definitely get a really good setup going. I only caught part of your 30TC lands video. Did you find them? Um, no, so I did find them. What I ended up having to do, because I don't have a modified case, Hornady, from what I understand, I can't find one. I don't know if they even make one for the 30TC. So what I did was I just expanded the neck with a L.E. Wilson expanding mandrel, and there's only maybe half thou neck tension on a piece of brass. And I took that and I seated the bullets, obviously super long, and then closed the bolt and let the lands engage and actually seat the bullet into the case. And so that was how I found the measurement. So I did it that way. I got an RCBS full kit on clearance for a buddy years ago for about 150. Wow. 500 and up if you want good stuff and to last. Yeah, exactly. Just like Reloading Quest said, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you can budget about 500 to start off with, I think you're going to be in good shape. The Lee 6-pack Pro is a great option, but around 350. Yep. Lee is cheapest to use. Buy estate sales, used or gold. Check the obituaries for newly deceased hunters, maybe? Question mark. Ultimate Reloader just posted a video on that like last week. Yes, he did. Define comprehensive. Yeah, exactly. That's the part of it too. It's like, what are you trying to do with, what's the intent of the reloading setup, right? I mean, do you want to go compete and you want to shoot massive volumes of ammunition? Then your budget number needs to go up a decent amount, because in my opinion, you need to invest your money in a quality progressive setup. Those are not cheap. So, it all depends on what you're trying to do. Look, Ultimate Reloader, he does good videos. Yes, he does. On the kits, he most certainly does. Pistols to big rifles. Oh, if you're going to load pistol ammunition, that depends on what it is, the cartridge that you're wanting to load. But if it's like 9mm or something, I would recommend, again, go check out Lee. They make some pretty budget-friendly progressive setups for stuff like 9mm. For the rifle side of the house, I'm a big fan of a single stage press, like the Mech Marksman. Big fan of that. But if you're wanting to do both, I mean, you could do progressive pistol and rifle, do some changeovers and stuff, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of loading pistol. Yeah, exactly. To Crash's point, the basic tools, that's really a drop in the bucket, to be honest with you. That's more or less a one-time purchase. Once you buy the stuff, you have it. And then, like, to reference Ultimate Reloader's video, you can even turn around and sell the stuff once you load the ammo you want to load, right? You don't even have to keep it. You're like, hey, I loaded up a bunch of ammo, found out this wasn't for me, I'm going to resell the reloading equipment. You can do that. And you can do it with the components too. But the components is where you're going to spend all your money, right? If you keep your brass from maybe shooting factory ammo and you just have a stockpile of it, that's good. But you still got to buy powder, bullets, primers. I mean, all that stuff adds up over time. So that's where you're going to be spending all your money. Those are your consumables or your recurring costs. My reloading kit started about 500 years ago. My last press was 350. Probably have spent 500 on odds and ends. Brownells has the lead Loadmaster 210 ship with code. Yeah, see, exactly. Well, I was having some slight issues in the very beginning of the live stream, so you know, could be my internet as well. Yeah, live stream. What's up? I've got it, so I'll bring it to you later. Go, bring it to you later. Let's see. RCBS Rebel Master Kit. Yeah, that would be one where, you know, I would definitely recommend that Rebel Master Kit. If you're going to load, if you're wanting something to load, you know, rifle ammunition, I don't think you can go wrong with that. I'm on Hardwire Spectrum, no other internet issues. Okay. It could be me. It could definitely be mine. I mean, I'm out here in my, you know, reloading shop. My whatever detached building where my reloading bench is. I'm out here live streaming from my phone, so it could be me. I don't even know why you wonder that. Roll Tide. So yeah, I mean, we're not going to hang out here super long on this live stream. It was just something I wanted to do, kind of impromptu live stream. I hear you. Bless your heart. I know. It's tough being right all the time. It's tough winning. Although that'll probably take a hit now. So yeah, that should be next season. Should be a lot of fun for a lot of people. Yeah, I'm sure social media will be full of the Bama haters next year. It's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, how do you follow up the greatest college coach of all time? Right? I mean, you could argue he's the greatest coach to ever do it. I mean, you just could. You could make that argument. So how do you even follow that up? Yeah, the transfer portal, man. And he even, I mean, what was it? He had to talk to Congress or something about that. There's clips floating around about him speaking to, you know, Congress or something about that. I have no idea. I see the clips. I mean, but he's right. Like you're now it's that name, image, and likeness thing. I mean, it's like what? How much money can you get me, coach? Like I don't care about coming here to win. Who cares about that? I want to know how much money I'm going to get while I'm here, and then I'm taking my talent to the next level. Obviously, you know that's the whole point. Get to the NFL, but how much cash can you throw my way while I'm here? And that's, you know, for somebody that's a little more on the old school side of the house, it's probably not something they like to hear. Someone wants to get into reloading, get with an experienced reloader. He or she can help with what you need. 100%. You know, there's a mountain of videos on YouTube. You sit around and just watch those all day long. Ultimate Reloader probably is one of the best resources because he's got the, what was it, ultimatereloader.com, where he's got articles and videos. He actually posts really well thought out content, stuff that you can actually learn from, not like the stuff I post. Um, so I would recommend going to his website and reading through a bunch of that stuff, getting you a reloading manual, something like a Hornady manual, a Sierra manual would be good, and just read the thing because the first half of it is reloading, how to reload. So I applaud the Big 12 for going back. Other player scholarships, even those who played a semester in the 1970s. American Reloading just uploaded a bunch of powders. Yeah, I got the email. They restocked a bunch of stuff. They're getting slowly sold out. Hand loader magazine, yeah. Also, if you're go to their channel too. They have a YouTube channel, but they also put out a magazine. Um, that you can actually physically hold in your hand and read. I know that's crazy, but you can go check out Hand Loader magazine and then check out their YouTube channel. That they make really great. Hey, here's step by step. This is how you do this. This is the cartridge we're working on today. These are the things you might need or the components you might want to look at while you're reloading 7 rim mag or whatever it is. So, and not to mention, Mr. Reloading Quest there writes articles for them. So, another reason to go support those guys. Probably hang out another couple minutes and then we'll be done with this live stream. We've already hit the hour mark, so I don't really want to stream longer than that. That's just about all I can tolerate, staring at a phone and trying to read messages at the bottom while focusing on what I'm doing. But yeah, I definitely have to look at your videos on 25-06. I know you've got that Savage, and so I have to be checking those out. Because I'm pretty pumped to try the 90 grain GMX. I know that seems a little light, and it is. It's a little light for 25-06, but in a solid copper option, I think it's going to be a great potential candidate to hunt whitetails here in Alabama. And I plan on going with H4831. In the Hornady manual, it's not the best velocity option, but it looks like it should give pretty good case fill, and I'm trying to get our velocity around 3100, which should be a piece of cake. And the 25-06 in this 90 grain bullet, in their manual you can go to 3400, but I'm gonna say 30 to 3100 feet per second. The deer are not gonna know a difference between 31 and 34. So, and no point in trying to push it too hard. Got my brass cleaning now and now cleaning the room. Yeah, exactly. That's really what I need to do. I need to get this stuff tumbling and then start cleaning. Hornady's test chambers are men. Always yes, they are. They're men everything. They're everything they have is they say that in their podcast that they do. They mention that several times that all their stuff is men spec. So also don't forget Georgia Shooting Connection. So the state of Georgia, right? Georgia Shooting Connection live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, for all you guys, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Go check it out. Have I noticed a difference in load data between Hornady editions? I have not really looked, but I'll tell you what, I can check because I've got a 9th edition right here, and then I've got the 11th sitting right up here. So let's go take a look. Let's see. 25-06. But just since we're on that cartridge, let's see if there's any difference. So they still show 3400 here and here. No, I'm not really seeing anything different. Let's see. Let's go check out something maybe like 6.5 Grendel. It ain't too far away. Let's go look at 6.5 Grendel. They've got data in the 9th edition. Let's look at that. 2700 is their max. Yeah, no. Nope. Looks like they might have added a powder or two in the list, but I don't see anything changing in terms of powder charge. Let's run over to 308 Winchester, right? Let's take a look at that one. 165 grain class. 165 to 168. No, I don't really see anything changing in terms of the max charges, but what I am seeing is a definite change in the list of powders that they've tested and that they have in their manual from one to the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So yeah, I mean, you go from 10 powders to 15 powders. So I definitely noticed that. Now that's only three. That's only 3 cartridges. I mean, there definitely could be some changes. Yeah, the Georgia Shooting Connection. That's an awesome place if you want to go learn about reloading. Do a video on 30TC from 6.5 Creedmoor. I definitely need to. Sierra does testing, unpublished. For example, Hybrid 100V works for 230 grain 308 Win. It's a very heavy 308. Phone call, so I'm gonna have to call those guys back. All right, this is where we're gonna leave it. We'll just call it done on the live stream. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Zach, all you other guys, Harvey, Jeff, K&M, all you guys, Derek. There it is. I'm back. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys joining the live stream and hanging out. You know, it's always a good time. Got to go get ready to have dinner with the family. So yeah, we'll catch y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Don't forget. So if Reloading Quest does a live later on, y'all jump on his channel. The Snared Life, that's another really good YouTube channel. I highly recommend. And then don't forget about Georgia Shooting Connection. So that's it. We'll catch all you guys next time. Y'all have a good